Hey everyone, happy World Book Day. My name is Nicole and I'm the Children's Assistant at Lark Hall Library, and I'm here today to tell you a story followed by a fun little craft. So, you ready? Today's pick is The Snail and the Whale by Julia Donaldson. I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with this one. It's a lovely wee story about the adventures of a snail and a whale. Then after we finish our story, I'm going to show you how to make one of these. It's an origami blue whale. Now, origami is the Japanese art form of paper folding. So stay tuned after the story and I'll teach you how to make one of these. All right, are we ready? Let's get started. The Snail and the Whale, written by Julia Donaldson, illustrated by Axel Scheffler, and published by Macmillan Children's Books. This is a tale of a tiny snail and a great big gray-blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. "The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail," said the tiny snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, "I've got it, I'll hitch a lift." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail that looped and curled and said, "Lift wanted around the world." This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale, immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." This is the sea, so wild and free, that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands, with fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves, where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. "Quick, off the sand, back to the sea," cried the snail. "I can't move on land, I'm too big," moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, "I've got it!" she cried and started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, "Sit straight, don't talk." This is the board as black as soot. And this is the snail with the itchy foot. "A snail! A snail!" The teacher turns pale. "Look," said the children, "it's leaving a trail." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, "Save the whale!" These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting "Hooray!" as the whale and the snail travel safely away. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, "How time's flown, and haven't you grown?" And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, and of how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of the humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the gray-blue humpback whale. The end. Here's how to make your origami whale. All you will need is a square piece of paper, a pair of scissors, and a colored pen for the face. If you don't have a square piece of paper, don't worry. Here's how to turn an A4 size piece of paper into a square. Let's get started. You're going to fold your paper in half from this corner to this corner. Unfold and rotate. And now you're going to fold this edge into the center line. Repeat the same thing on this side. The left edge into the center line, and then you're going to have a shape like a kite. Now fold this top point to meet the two center points. Fold your whole shape in half. Now let's work on the tail. We're going to fold it up just about here. Press really hard down on this fold so we get a good crease. Repeat the same thing on this side. Again, pressing really hard to get a good crease. Now here comes the tricky bit. You're going to unfold your shape and you're going to make a reverse fold. So you're going to flip your tail up just like this and then try and refold the shape again. You might need to use your fingers to pop that middle part out. If you need to see that again, remember you can always go back in the video and watch it as many times as you want. There we go. Now we have our whale shape. We need to work on our tail. Flatten it open just a little bit and grab your scissors. You're going to make a little snip. And there we go. We have our little tail. Now all that's missing is our face. Grab your colored pen, draw on your eyes, and your big smiley face. And there you have it. There's your whale. So, how did we all do? I bet your whales are awesome. And if you wanted, you could even draw and color in a background of the ocean and you can put your whale in your picture. That would be pretty cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's story and craft session, and hopefully one day soon I can see you guys all back in the library. We can do a nice class visit there. But in the meantime, I'll see you next time for another story and craft session. Take care and stay safe. Bye.